In your journeys across the world of Warcraft, you have undoubtedly encountered some amazing creations. Azeroth is a land of many civilizations and landmarks that have withstood the test of time and can be explored by players to this day in Classic WoW. Today, we are taking a look at 7 locations on the Eastern Kingdom's continent that are truly wonders of the world. Like before, I selected these 7 based on the variety of cultures to be found in these zones. And if you have suggestions for future videos, make sure to leave them down in the comments. So, with all that being said, let's get right into it. Starting off in the north of the Dwarven lands, an imposing walkway guides players above a vast strait of water between the wetlands and the Arathi Highlands. This is the Thandal Span, a set of twin bridges built by the dwarves that provide an important strategic highway for Alliance forces. During the time of Classic WoW, however, this location is contested by the forces of the rogue Dark Iron Clan, who collapsed the Western Bridge and now hold positions on the remaining walkway. It is through your efforts that the dwarves are able to reclaim this landmark, and though it has sustained heavy damage, some of the structure is still intact, and one can still see the incredible craftsmanship of the dwarves in the chains and blocky pillars. Broken pieces can be found far below in the shallow waters, and Alliance players can even swim down to find a secret quest item on the body of this dwarven soldier. As one comment so eloquently put it, without the Thandal Span linking these zones together, the Eastern Kingdoms would practically be 2 separate continents, and I think that point especially makes it a wonder of Azeroth. In the north of the Eastern Kingdoms lies Lordaeron, the fallen remains of one of the great human kingdoms. Here, amid the undead-infested Tirisfal glades, one can find a bastion of purity and hope, or at least so it appears. The Scarlet Monastery is the main headquarters of the Scarlet Crusade, a fanatical group of survivors dedicated to eliminating the plague. Their methods come at a heavy price, as in their madness, they now view any outsiders as agents of the Scourge, attacking visitors on sight. Though it was once a main temple of the Church of the Holy Light, the Scarlets have tainted these majestic halls with their crimson banners, the monastery now a somber reflection of its former glory. Detailed rotundas, passages, and courtyards make up the 4 wings of this mid-level dungeon, all teeming with different divisions of the Crusade. Despite undergoing a dramatic transformation in recent years, the monastery stands tall as one of the most significant religious sites on the continent. At the southern end of the grim Deadwind Pass lies Karazhan, a relic of an age-long past. This was once the tower of the last guardian Medivh, a powerful mage responsible for protecting Azeroth from demonic forces. The story of Warcraft 1 tells of Medivh's fall to darkness and the abandonment of Karazhan. For years, it sat in solitude, but without the presence of a guardian to watch over the spire, nefarious beings began to intrude. By the time of the Burning Crusade, players entered to find it teeming with the restless dead, arcane anomalies, and even darker powers. These enemies contrast with the hauntingly luxurious rooms of the tower, which include a ballroom, an opera hall, and a magical observatory, among many others. It truly captures the wealth and power of the Last Guardian. Observant players may also be familiar with the secret Griffin Roost near the top of Karazhan, a leftover flight point never implemented into the final game. This raid is remembered fondly by many players, and everything about its design really allows it to shine as a clandestine spark of intrigue within an otherwise dreary zone. Another centuries-old marvel worth exploring can be found farther north on the border of the Arathi Highlands and the Hillsbrad foothills. Thoradin's Wall, named after King Thoradin, the first ruler of humankind, was constructed to protect the human lands from Amani troll incursions. The wall still stands hundreds of years after the fall of the Empire, but shows signs of wear and tear from battle, the elements, and perhaps more recently, the Syndicate bandits, who now operate a smuggling route through the ruined barrier. The wall is surprisingly detailed, with passageways, battlements, and a ramp to maneuver troops into position. This is one of only a few landmarks players can visit in another time, and in the Hillsbrad Foothills time travel dungeon, the wall is shown as having a sturdy gate, and the hole where the bandits now travel through is just an ordinary section of wall. This impressive feat of engineering, one large enough to divide 2 entire zones I might add, is enough to earn it a spot in today's list, a piece of history that still stands today. Let us now return to the domain of dwarves. In the north of the temperate Loch Madan, the massive stone-wrought dam looks out over the wetlands, holding back the water of the loch itself. 3 large stone dwarves spout water down below, providing much of the water flowing into the marshes while creating the lakeside ecosystems of Loch Madan above. This impressive wall was constructed from many years of labor overseen by the master architect Franklorn Forgewright, a dark iron dwarf from long ago responsible for the stone-wrought style of building seen in other creations such as Blackrock Depths and potentially the Thandal Span as well. Ironically, in classic WoW, the Dark Iron Clan is now attempting to destroy the dam, and it falls to you to defend its legacy as a symbol of dwarven strength. Deep in the wilds of Quel'Thalas, territory of the Blood Elves, another empire lays claim to the region. The Amani Trolls, ancient enemies of human and elf kind, have survived for centuries within the secluded temple city of Zul'Aman. It is here where the forest trolls show their mastery of nature and the Loa spirits they revere, with the city held within a tranquil forest valley. Out of all the major troll civilizations on Azeroth, Zul'Aman stands out as an empire that has weathered the storm of ages. From repeated wars with the Alliance to the Undead Plague, it is surprising to see such a lush environment existing on the border of the Ghostlands, where Scourge corruption runs rampant. Despite falling to heresy in their latter years, and eventually succumbing to invasion, the Amani Trolls had truly created a refuge for their people, and it's hard to deny the visual magnificence of this area. Out of all the contributions to the world of Azeroth from the inventive gnomes, many may call the Deep Run Tram the most important. This tunnel connects Stormwind to Ironforge with high-speed tram cars, giving players an efficient method of visiting the 2 capitals. From the gear architecture to the color scheme and design details, the tram is the essence of gnome engineering, and is a really unique landmark within the game. The tram even passes through an underwater section, giving players an aquarium-like experience, complete with rare creatures and a sunken ship. You might think about how exactly the tram passes underwater when it travels below a continent, and the official explanation for that is that the tram passes through a subterranean lake. Looking deeper, you can also find several development-centric theories, with one of the most well-known being that the tram was originally supposed to connect Ironforge to Darnassus, but that was later changed closer to the launch of the game. As to how exactly the gnomes power this piece of technology, along with countless others, I'm working on a video to address that. But in the meantime, the tram's purpose and ingenuity surely earns it the title of a Wonder of Warcraft. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have ideas for a future episode of this series, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And until next time, may the Force be with you.